but whatever. I hit the stream button.
Oh yeah. Excellent.
All right. Streaming on. All right. Well, it's nice day here today. Not a nice late summer day. I'm looking forward to getting out, maybe go for a swim in the lake.
Nice. Yeah,
What
what's
lake is that, Reuben?
Lake Huron. It's big, very, very big.
Pretty cold too.
Right, it's be about 23, 24 degrees right now.
Uh,
Not not
I'm I'm
not cold.
thinking I'm thinking that's too cold for me.
Yeah, it's not so bad. If you go in April, it's 5 or 6 degrees. So it warms up, and climate change has been relatively good for the lake temperature. I don't know if it's good for the environment of the lake, but it's good for the temperature anyway.
and it's nice where you are because it's shallow so far out that you got some really nice warm water.
Yeah, if I go way out in the middle of the lake, it's colder for sure. Like I could go out several kilometers, like I could go 30, 40 kilometers into the lake, and it's gonna be colder out there. It's kind of weird swimming in when you're out in the middle of the lake when you can't see any shore too. It's kind of eerie. I
Yeah, it
there's
is. Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing in the lake. It's not like the ocean where there's like sharks and whales and things. It's a lake. The biggest fish in that lake is a sturgeon, but
Right.
it just feels strange.
Yeah. I'm not really a fan of like an immense depth below me. No, that's not me.
Yeah, it's got that whatever that, and there's some people it doesn't bother, but I'm not a big fan of it. Apparently teenagers don't care. What do
It's
we got
great
lined
for
up
a
today?
sailboat.
Yeah, it'd be really great. Well, it's a big giant empty lake. Like it's the second, I think second, maybe third. I don't know. It's one of the biggest lakes on the planet. So if you go far enough out there, you can't see any shore in any direction. And if depending on the direction you can go three and a half, 350 kilometers of straight open water. So
That's
it goes for long.
We've got Brad on AI Fall Summit. I think I heard that Chris might have something, and I'm hoping so we can confirm with Barry Hurd, who does this astounding research work, right?
Okay.
Really neat stuff. How you doing, Brad?
Good. Good to see you guys. Did you want me to talk about this uh something?
AI Fall Retreat.
Or do you want to just do it or
We'll do the yeah, either or.
yeah.
I feel like I should go outside.
Yeah, is
I
that
mean,
your city backyard or is that the Trent Hills backyard?
Oh, you're making me jealous of Roof right now. No, it's city backyard.
City
I,
backyard.
I, I want to be in Trent River.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm gonna take you salmon fishing this fall, Brad.
Yeah. Well, I still have a boat right now, just to let you know. Didn't end up posting it on anywhere. So,
Okay.
oh,
All right. There we go.
what kind of boat is it?
oh, it's for sale if anyone wants. 18-foot Sea-Doo Challenger.
It's
Oh,
nice.
send me a
Really?
picture. So,
It is, yeah, it is probably the lowest mileage or whatever they use that you can possibly get. I think it's old, probably about a 2004, but it was originally owned by a 75-year-old, then by an 80-year-old, then our family, I think we use it for 1 week a year. That's about it. So
come
Yeah.
come park it at my lake house here in Lake Huron. Yeah, send me a link to it. We love old jet skis and boats and things that we can, you know,
yeah.
beat up.
Well, it goes quick. It's made for Lake Huron water.
Yeah, I had to ask Brad not to throttle it up to fly.
Yeah, I think
Really?
yeah, because we were going what say wakeboarding speed, but it what about 20 miles an hour or something like that, but it goes up to in the 50s. I think that's one of the reasons we're selling it, because my kids are teenagers now and it's got a little bit too much horsepower.
Too much for teenagers? Your teenagers are different than my teenagers because they're out
Well,
there. They're on the lake right now, doing the surfing and the whatever those tube things are called, bouncing
Right.
around, flying through the air. You know, they come in all black and blue, and I don't know what they're doing out there.
yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah. Well, yeah, send it over. I'm sure we'll take a look at that.
yeah.
All right, almost top of the hour here.
Well, that's a decent lead in. There's a lot of talk about marketplace.
Is that what we're talking about today?
No, I don't think so. But that's some pretty good stuff. No, we've clicked over, I believe, on the AI fall retreat. So there's still those buddy rooms that we can pair people up with, still spots, but we'll dive into that. Let me pull up the Rocky Crest.
Yeah, and we have a merch provider. I'll get the quotes for different people, but good thing is she can come on site. We can pre-order if there's patches, or she'll have the any kind of specs, or if you want funny phrases. If you bring your own golf shirt, she can print that on site as well, for people.
On site. All right.
Yeah, so she'll have on site, and she's doing it at roommate pricing. So
Probably get a Rocky Crest shirt and then print on that. Actually, we should ask because that would be the obvious thing. And if they're incompatible, we should know.
Mm. I think Chris has aligned on some good stuff too. But it's right, the Rocky Crest that I'm sure they've got. I mean, they will, because they have a pro shop on the golf course.
Yeah.
yeah,
If anybody does golf, who is going to DM me.
I want to be. I'm bad at golf, but you can keep me around just to make yourself feel like you're better.
I know
I
I'm focusing on is not going to be golf.
I want to try it, so
I'll
everybody
try it.
else
Sure.
can
Well,
feel better.
I'll go golfing.
Why not?
I golf left, so we'll have to go to the pro shop, make sure I get left. Because I realized that I was particularly bad because I was golfing with right-handed golf clubs, which made it even worse. But my
No
technique
difference.
is, yeah, it's kind of
For
like
me.
Happy Gilmore, where you're kind of doing a slap shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it gets
Yeah,
you closer to the hole, that's fine. It's one of the games where, when you first start, the more strokes you take, the more practice you get. So,
yeah, there you go.
yeah,
And then
we'll just have basketball scoring, so the highest wins instead of the
yeah,
lowest.
No.
You guys are all looking at this the wrong way, right? Most everybody on this call is a math person, right? So
Yeah.
if you pay $100 to go golf and you take more strokes than Rob does per se, you're getting more value. That's all it is.
I love it.
the better ratio. Yeah.
yeah,
And the more
there you go.
balls you hit, the more value you're getting. It's easy.
There we go.
Um,
The cost per stroke is the main measurement.
Well, I'm thinking maybe we build some kind of golfing app that we use to somehow make our game better. Maybe it's like an augmented reality app or something that adjusts and helps us
Ooh.
hit.
We'll need to measure the swing with a custom chip.
Or we just use review, and you have to use review to find the hole.
Yeah, there you go. Or I could bring my father-in-law and his pals. They took me golfing once, and I was so bad. They just mocked me the entire time, and it was like literally one of the first times I ever golfed, but traumatic experience for
I
me.
might actually, when you're talking about using review, it'd be pretty cool. My son just joined this new golf simulation center facility, and I was like, think about all the places that could actually be open actually at night in the dark now. Like
I
it'd be an
literally
awesome
spent 2 years.
I literally spent 2 years working with Google Glass and that group creating a application that does track the golf balls and using that same method, using
And
RFID in the golf ball.
Yeah, I
we
tried
could,
the RFID side. Yeah, that was an interesting one.
I was going to use a quantum-based sensor, but your RFID sounds much more practical.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. We built golf ball cannons and everything to test with, pneumatic cannons to test the durability of the chip in it. And it ended up being that we ended up using a 3D nano printed silver that we put on the golf ball as antennas. And
Really?
the molecules would flex as the ball was flying through the air. And then it was stabilized about a third of the way down. It actually reforms into the shape of an antenna and works perfectly.
Okay.
Well, I'm definitely down with the golf ball cannon. I'm in on that. Anytime you want to demonstrate, build, use, yeah, bring
Well,
it to the retreat. I'm in.
I also have that auto aiming system that I concocted a while back that can probably be used for golf and other things where it can track and then shoot whatever, a golf ball, preferably. We could use that, and then we could have some sort of like mini golf ball gun that shoots around or something.
We're not going to be A-Rod. Start looking for the next venue for next year now.
Yeah, that's right.
Not be
Yeah.
invited back.
Yeah. The more war torn, the better. All right. So we've got an interesting week this week. I guess the big news is Stripe bought Open Router for apparently $7.5 billion.
Wow.
Founders made $1.5 billion a pop, which is more than what they were valued apparently on their last valuation in May. And the craziest part of the story, I don't know if you've seen this thing, but they apparently are saying that the reason that they're buying the company is because of the singularity. And so now, and then Elon Musk popped up and said, "Yeah, we're in the midst of the singularity." And of course, Sam Altman, not to be left out, says, "Yes, we're in the singularity or whatever."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you got to wonder, like, do they just make random crap up on a Thursday and then to see if it'll go viral? Like, there's no proof or any indication other than a couple billionaires telling us we're in the singularity. But according to this,
It, yeah, I was gonna say, guys, it sounds like a bit like the Pizza Express in Woking. It's a very UK reference, but where these guys meet up, sit in a restaurant somewhere near Silicon Valley, and go like, which shit shall we shoot into the ether this week again?
yeah, it's a little bit like that. Are we in the singularity? So, what exactly is the singularity? The singularity apparently is a point in time where the AI is essentially smarter than the smartest person and can operate and do everything that person can do, at least at the same level as the smartest person in the world for any job or any task. Now, are we at that level for all things? I don't think so. But are we at that level for some things? For sure. And the irony of the some things, it's probably the things that we do on this, weekly call, things that involve building things, understanding, analyzing, it's basically computer science related activities where we're, if not at that point, pretty close to that point. But in other areas where I don't think we're anywhere near it, but that's probably a side effect of the fact that we're focused on the things that we know. So computer scientists build AI systems, and therefore we build things that are related to the things that we are most interested in doing, the things that we build and the things that we use. So the real question becomes if that recursion of self-improvement, which we've seen over the last several years, continues, in other verticals, which it obviously will. At what point do all verticals become essentially the same level of capability that we see in computer science? Now, if you believe all this to be true, then we're in the transitional period that leads to probably a singularity or a super intelligence or whatever it is that comes, when everything reaches a parity, or most things anyway reach parity. And at which point, the doomers say we're doomed, and the optimists say we reach a utopia, and the pragmatists say it's a lot of the same, so probably somewhere in the middle. but that's what they're apparently buying this for, or at least that's what they said in their email. And they had that apparently they had to outbid Databricks and other things. Now, the interesting thing, just to note about open routers, we know by this point Open Router isn't the hardest thing to recreate, right? There's Light LLM or the Meta LLM that I've concocted and other related services. Now, the trick to any of this stuff, it has little to do with the tech. What they're buying is the market, the customer base, the users of these platforms. And I think we've all come to the same realization that AI has democratized the ability to build stuff really easily, right? I can build Open Router 2.0 in about 3 seconds, but what I can't recreate are the millions of users who use Open Router every day. People, access. So they're buying that, I think. At least that would be my guess. They're buying a steady path to the most valuable users on the internet, which right now are building agents and AI and using Open Router to do those things. And you can see that when you look at the top list of apps that are being used on Open Router. So let's do that just for a moment. Why not? And because that really does sort of give a sort of look at what's happening in our little world right here. So they're claiming 10 million global users, which, let's be honest, in a world of nearly, was it 8 billion people? That's nothing, right? So we're in the earliest stages of this transition to this technology. So 10 million users, that's roughly on par with the amount of users I've seen on some of my open source projects over the last few years. Now, I haven't monetized them to the point that these guys have, but there's it's certainly a finite group of users doing this sort of thing at this point. So those 10 million users really represent the types of users we are, the people building interesting things and doing things, with that. And so what exactly are they doing? Well, it would appear they're using things like Hermes agent. And maybe I should add the Open Router option that tracks my usage there too. It might be an easy way to get some extra eyeballs. But you can see that most of these things involve coding or some form of, harness, right? And almost everything trending is a harness. Now, I'm not sure what this Zazen thing is, but my guess is probably a harness.
Yeah.
So that's what they're buying, right? And that's pretty clearly what they're buying. So it's really interesting to see that. So they're buying essentially 10 million users. So someone do the math quick. 7.5 billion for 10 million users. What's each user worth? That's the math.
$750.
$750. So
Like,
they're
right?
they're
Somebody's gonna
that's
fact check me.
I don't know. It's something like it's either 750. Someone yeah, I think that sounds about right. But that's the value. And to me, that value of that user actually seems pretty low, right? I think, if they represent the most valuable users, on the internet,
Yeah.
that's a steal. That essentially is a steal of a deal. And imagine what they're going to do with how many users use Stripe, like millions. How many Stripe users? I don't know.
Yeah, Stripe getting into the cost management game for inference is really interesting.
So according to Google, which is maybe not the most, but let's see, 5 million total websites have integrated Stripe at some point. That doesn't mean they're active. The United States holds the largest share of 53 active. Let me know what else. Yeah, like how many end users, like buyers? Who knows? Let's see what. Let's
Consumers
see.
are going through the Stripe. Oh yes, yeah, on the consumer buy side.
So that's the value prop, I think. So they've got 250 million registered end users and 5 million or whatever that number was, 5 million sites that use it. So their value proposition is exactly this. It's users. It's the end consumers. It's the ability to take those end consumers and offer them other things at scale. Right. And they know exactly what these 250 million consumers are buying. They know what Stripe preferences they have, what Shopify things they're buying, all these different things. So they've got that information. Now they know what's happening in the world of agents, because that's essentially all you're going to do with Open Router is build agentic systems of some sort. Chatbots, I suppose, as well. But let's be honest, most chatbots these days are turning into agentic style systems anyway. So that's what they're doing. It's
I
in
think
some
you're
ways.
I think you're I think you're partially right on that, but the other play on this for Stripe was the fact that they now allow agents to join through Agent Connect, through their Connect system with no KYC. And they're allowing them to make transactions and have transactions. And I think that is the bigger play for them because they want all of that traffic going to their agentic systems.
Yeah, that's not a bad thesis. And if you look at, I've been, Brad and I have had our run-ins with Stripe over the last couple of years, and and it's a little bit, it represents the maturity of AI coding a little bit. But over the last 6 months or so, the ability to integrate Stripe effectively, securely, without a bunch of people complaining that they were double billed and other crap we had to deal with early on, has gone away. And the biggest part of that has just been the fact that Stripe has made it really easy to tie in these agents to things like their MCP tools and documentation directly in the flow of the development. So there's none of this kind of hallucinated, like I didn't realize that the Stripe API didn't actually do the thing that Claude thought it was going to do. And that was the problem we had early on. And that's kind of gone away. And maybe that's better training of the models, but I think it's mostly just the fact that I've figured out how to integrate the MCP effectively into my development flow. Interesting times, needless to say. All right, a couple other things. I've been a big fan of the ChatGPT Sites capability, and for those of you who are not familiar, it's a new It's not, I don't know how new it is, but it's real new to me anyway. That allows you to build essentially these complex JavaScript Next.js style apps with plugins, which right now the artifacts capabilities in Claude doesn't let you do, and they get deployed as web workers on Cloudflare. So it's basically a much more robust and better version of artifacts. So what I like to build sort of things that sort of push like ideas and concepts that I have. So one of the things I was exploring, because I love outer space, was the ability to sort of map black holes. So I used it. I'm going to show you how I built that because that's kind of cool. So yeah, let's jump into that right now. This this is just me messing around. This is vibing 101. But here we go. So this is, and I'll show you how I built it. So this is hopefully you can see my screen okay. So this is a black hole, and I use data from several sources, and I can show you where I get the sources from. And again, the fonts are super small. I don't know, maybe I'll make them bigger. It looks cool anyway. It looks kind of like one of those movie style screens that you'd see. So this represents the black hole. I can zoom in, and play with the different settings. I can change the view. All that I can take a snapshot, all that kind of stuff. Now, in this case, I can change the different types of black holes if I want to use, the Milky Way. For example, this is the black hole in the middle, and some other, this is a quasar, I guess. Now I can muck around with the mass and the spin. It's the Kerr spin. I'm wondering if that's named after Stewart, but probably not. For lack of a better example, I'm going to call it the Stewart Kerr spin. We go here. We can gravitational lensing. We can play. I can create different experiments if I want. All kinds of things. And here we go. Let's go back here for a minute. I'm gonna just change this, and we'll change the render style. I can make it more or less rendered. The dot matrix. All kinds of little options here. And now what else? I'm like, okay, this is cool. I can sort of map different black holes and see how they adjust and do different, structures. But I can also, let's go use this. Give me a little welcome message here. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to go welcome. This is going to guide me through. So two connected instruments. Field opens the black hole simulation. Atlas opens the NASA and Gaia catalog navigator, which is kind of cool. I'll show you that in a minute. And then you can play with different systems, and these are star systems. So we can go there. And again, I built this morning just for something to show you guys on the call today. Like literally, kind of while I was having breakfast. So we can go in here. I can choose the structure of the star system. I can zoom in and get different elements. This is literally built in like 20 minutes, which is pretty crazy. So we can go further. I can choose that. I can search the other star systems if I want. I can do a mission, so that this will sort of guide me through apparently a multi-step process and different stars and all kinds of things. Now, this is, this shows the trajectories. And it's using all real data, by the way. So not only can I use this to sort of study and understand the star systems, I can also then use this as a practical method to go and discover other star systems. Kind of like, if you guys remember, was it I think it was March, I built a system that goes and discovers, like a planet discovery system. I should probably add that here. I always end up back to these planet discovery systems. I like discovering planets for whatever reason. But yeah, lots of options there. But the way, I'll show you what I did. It wasn't that complicated. So we'll jump back into where did I put my chat GPT?
That last project was a great one too, by the way. I think in that one you plugged into the James Webb.
Yeah.
Is that the database?
Yeah, and I found a bunch of crazy things like Dyson spheres, and I can't prove it more than anybody else, but it's
Probabilities.
apparently.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the interesting about those Dyson spheres, just as an FYI, and I'm gonna go and I'll do an artifact or something. After I went and found those things, other research came out and they found the same ones. So we're either all drinking the same Kool-Aid, like we're all using Claude to go find Dyson spheres, or it actually works. One of the two things. But the fact that there are other people who found the same things that I found while sort of mucking around with their data indicates that, I think the math works. But again, it's beyond my pay grade to actually tell you if there's a Dyson sphere there made by aliens. All right. So
Hey, Rolf, one thing is about drinking same Kool-Aid. Even if they don't use Claude, they use like ChatGPT or Qwen, there is so much share between the in the training material, so it might be just feeding from the same sources eventually. It's
Yeah, who knows? There's and that's the dead internet hypothesis. If we're all using the same training material, are we just feedbacking ourselves in the same output? I don't know. Maybe.
That'd be drinking the same Kool-Aid from different glasses.
Ye-
pretty
Yeah,
much,
possibly.
yeah.
Yeah, different Kool-Aid from different glasses with different mixtures of Kool-Aid in those glasses. A little more, a little less, a little bit, water, maybe a shot of vodka, whatever. But
Different crystals.
different crystals, yeah, a little more, a little less mercury. Um,
Mhm.
so this is how I did it. So in the late 1960s, a scientist, which I don't remember off the top of my head, created one of the earliest simulations of a black hole, and using rudimentary computing resources, 1960s era. And this is what it looked like. And it turned out 60 years later that his early sort of analysis, which was functionally true, even on what we would consider a calculator today. So I'm like, all right, I like the look of that. That was kind of cool. So and this morning you can see today at 9:02 a.m. I'm like, all right, create me a dot matrix 3D simulation of a black hole using 3JS. I love 3JS for all the reasons you just saw. It's amazing for doing sort of three-dimensional types of things like this. And give me some dialogues and drawers, right? That's it. That's all I told it. And then for 17 minutes, it did its thing, whatever that is, a bunch of different activities. It did research and so on, and built it and deployed it, and then it gave me a little preview here, and then it threw an error because it always throws an error. So I just fed it back its error, and then it thought for another couple minutes and fixed it up. I'm still getting an error. Okay, come on, dummy. Are we at singularity when I got to tell it twice to fix an error? I don't know. Anyway, it turns out the problem was it didn't publish it, and then eventually it worked. And then I'm like, all right, what else? What else can we do? Like let's find stars and planets and use real data. I went and did some research, found the Gaia and whatever other things here, and I'm obviously keep style, kept vibing here. It's fine. It found some habitable zone analysis. So now we're reaching the point of like, can we add components that are like, novel and finding new types of things. So I'm just saying keep going. Include overlay, which I showed you earlier. The overlay sort of walks you through it. That's this thing here, the little help icon. And then what I did is I published it. And this is the coolest part. So not only did I build this whole thing, publish it to Cloudflare, then I went into to my GitHub, and it published the whole thing, created a little screenshot, and I've got myself a new project. Not that I need another project, but you know, here we are. And so all this just for you guys today. So I'm going to pop this into the check the text area for you. And we could probably, you know, now the question is, now that I've got this, what else can I do with it? Well, the logical, it knows everything about my stack, right? So I can go back here and, you know, and I said, okay, build me some crazy sites. And this is this is kind of what I like about ChatGPT, and Claude's similar. I like ChatGPT just because it's an alternative perspective. I spend a lot of time in Claude, so I just like to see what the other guys are doing, to be honest. And that gives me just a sort of alternate perspective on intelligence and to be honest, because I've been using ChatGPT since, you know, November, or I guess I get it early, didn't I? October of 2022. It's got kind of my whole history of everything it knows about me, right? So it knows my stack really well. And this is a perfect example, right? I'm going in here and I'm just like, okay, biggest opportunity is not better websites. It's turning sites into visual operating system for your AI substrate. I love the word AI substrate. So it says here, create the Roov Atlas, living zoomable intelligence universe. I think that's what we already kind of already created in that last one. That's not very original. Perpetual Intelligence Observatory, turn Dream Machine into a public explorable research organism. Oh, that certainly sounds cool. And remember, I'm using the Dream Machine as part of the scheduled capabilities. So if we go to scheduled for a moment here, and we can see where to my Dream Machine. Oh, I don't have it running, but currently, I guess that's in Claude. But the Dream Machine essentially will run on a schedule, and here's like breakthroughs. So every night in this case, it's looking for breakthroughs, and then it'll commit those. It creates my PRs for me using work. It won't just research the breakthroughs. It goes uses my code. It goes and looks at all the things I have in my portfolio of millions and millions of lines of code and says, this is a security problem, goes and fixes it, creates a PR, and in the morning I just, you know, do a quick review of them. But more importantly, it doesn't just do the PR, it goes and finds notable papers that are essentially going to make my system better. In this case, it's saying that, you know, in August 19th, which is what, 2 days ago, the memory changes became governed experiments. The important insight is that agents should not be optimized using one aggregate benchmark. Every intervention should identify exactly what stage changed, ingestion, so on and so forth. Here's some stats. And then it tells me it maps directly to the root vector Darwin meta harness and Dream Machine. So awesome. Before I even got up, it's built and done and working, which is like back to the singularity. This is the glimpse of the singularity. So I've created this broad, crazy concoction of AI projects, and no one argues that it's crazy and broad. And everyone's like, well, how do you manage, you know, hundreds or actually in this case, thousands of different packages? I don't. Literally at this point, all I need to do is point Claude and Claude Work, Co-work, or whatever they call it, or ChatGPT work at my repo and say, you go figure it out. You go tell me what the best, most capable, you know, or security problems are, and it'll just do it at this point. And the benefit to using like the schedule capability is this doesn't use my resources from my Claude Pro account, or Max, I guess is my Max account. So you know, which we all run out of capacity, at least if you're operating at my level, or you know, you're running out of capacity. So it doesn't use that capacity, which is great. So then I just get Claude to sort of review the PRs, which doesn't really use any real usage, and it works great. So now we got that. So yeah.
Rob, I have a question about it because I just got scared by Claude and the whole system I built. So it talks on Slack on my behalf to the scientists about analytical chemistry, and it got to the point I don't completely understand what's even talking about. But the scientists actually reply, and it seems like it's having the conversation with them that I have like very little understanding what's good, because like when I'm working on this pipelines that ingest stuff from the lab and like do ETL and everything, and sometimes in the lab somebody mistypes something or like they have to rerun, and sometimes they're like these chromatography methods. I don't understand like why they don't work, but Claude seems like hey, you made a mistake, and the scientists reply, and sometimes they say, yeah, this is correct. Sometimes they say that's not, and there is a whole conversation going on that I'm kind of like losing like control of, like how you deal with those things.
Yes, that I know. So I know exactly what you're describing, and that happens to me all the time. It's like because I'm building so many things, it's like the upstream error. I think Claude refers to it as some research paper, some library that it's based on has a problem that it needs to be fixed. Now the trick to that with scientists is to make that issue is easy to understand and as short as possible, and try to avoid making it look like the AI is
No,
just doing it.
but that's actually it's not my problem. My problem, the scientists do understand what they talk about, like, and the Claude understands what they talk about. It's like I'm basically supposed to be driving it, and it's sort of my agent. I don't understand myself what the Claude talks to scientists, and they seem like they have these conversations, like, and it's
That will make for
I
interesting in-person encounters.
so so
You have
just to be
custody.
Yeah, just to be clear, guys, the reason we do this call for me, like why do I get on a call every week or twice a week, mostly these days, is to try to articulate the things that I'm building, and your feedback, your questions help me solidify those things that I'm doing in a way that I can understand them. And in the way that I learn, strangely as it may sound, is by trying to explain the things that I built.
Mhm.
Now, I don't pretend to have all the answers, obviously. That would make me the world's smartest person, which I am not. But what this does is at least when I pop and if I show up to a investor call or a client call or something, I've already attempted to articulate the thing that I built to you and the crew. And if you're just telling me I have no idea what you're talking about, and maybe most of you do, I have no idea, but this very active dialogue, I guess, makes it real beyond
That's
some crap in Claude.
that's the same thing when you have a problem. Sometimes you explain to somebody the problem, and immediately, oh, I know what it is, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. And and sometimes people show up and give the sort of vibe demos, and you'll often notice that I'm like, well, explain to me how it works. Like, what's it doing? And I'm not doing that to be sort of a jerk, which I guess I might be a little bit of a jerk. But what I'm doing is I'm trying to see the process they went through to get to the solution or the thing that they built. And the answer might be I don't know, and that's fine. But I was curious, and that's why I did it, right? And that's a fine answer, right? But for me, it's more than just curiosity. It's like the reason I keep coming back to stars and in the galaxy, it just seems like a mystery that needs to be unraveled somehow. And I'm just curious if I can figure out if there's correlations and things that make sense that I'm trying to grasp my place in the universe, as crazy as that may sound. And
Uh,
so explore it.
the combination of um uh of the expression of models getting a little out ahead, us having to ground them, and what you built, Ruve, with the Dream Machine and the Meta Harness, right? And how we opened up with the singularity. Those are all correlated. And really with the singularity, as from my understanding of it, is it's effectively that moment when a model functions like a meta harness, but on how to construct foundation models themselves. And Guy Bieber could probably speak to the actual, layers, bits, and pieces that would be experimented with a meta harness. But that concept of an outer loop that's looking at how to build foundation models and improve them in its own rotation, that's the moment, that's the phase of liftoff, because then better models build better models.
Yeah. And that the
And we're
the
seeing it right here in our own applications, right? Sorry.
Well, we've seen it over the last 4 years, and you know, and the biggest challenge I have is I'm still measured on that crap I put out 4 years ago, and it was crap, right? No one argues with that. But the part that's a little bit unfair is measuring the quality of agentic development circa 2023 against the stuff that I put out last week. And somehow correlating the fact that the journey and I guess I built everything in public, which makes that journey completely transparent. So the real and most interesting part of looking at my sort of, I don't know what you want to call it, portfolio of stuff is the evolution of the process and the output of that process over the last 4 years. And if you look at, I just showed you what I built this morning just for this call on ChatGPT. It's crazy, right? That like
using real data, using NASA data, yeah.
Yeah, using real data deployed in literally 20 minutes. Like while I was having my morning coffee, just because I could, and even 6 months ago that wasn't possible. Not, at least not on ChatGPT. It was possible for us using recursive loops and roof flow and all that sort of stuff, but it wasn't just pop it into ChatGPT and go have a coffee. And that is the part that's sort of still mind-boggling to me. And we're still in the earliest phases of this. Like if this was invented in 2022. Vlad, you get a comment?
Kind of. So I find so I cannot build stuff overnight. So what takes very long time, it took me, I actually built an app. I'm finishing it up right now, right? It took me 3 days to like figure out the main model, and that's probably the hardest. To basically what you want to build, especially for systems that talk to other systems. And once you have the main model, I mean, I have like 3 clouds that drive like each one of drive like 7 clouds, and they just were sitting there and they built the app. It took them like a few days to do it because they were running tests, everything. But just participation, like figuring out what to build, especially if it has to talk to the other systems and get the sources and making sure everything's right. That's I think that's where the bottleneck is. Like given your like black hole experience, right? Because it's preset data set and the app is basically it sources from one place into the app, right? So I think building web app, it's not, they could be done autonomously right now, like because
Depends what you're building. Depends what you're building. And
no, once you have the domain, all the data models, all the protocols, how you talk to the others, the actual building API server and the front app, like that's I find it very like easy now. It's
yeah, I think one of the benefits that I have in the way that I build is I've got a complete stack of stuff that I can sort of put together, and it's built in the way that I like to build. It's very modular. It's optimized for CPUs and so on, and it's cheap.
And it's Rust.
It's and so now that I've got that, I don't have to spend a lot of time on architecture and backplane type work. It kind of like, it's almost like my Roov brain already sort of knows those sort of architectural choices, and now I can basically mix and match those pieces to build new and interesting deviations on that core sort of plane. You see that particularly well in like the self-learning loops that I've been doing over the last couple of months. And those self-learning loops are benchmarked and measured, and they're the improvement that I'm seeing in those self-learning recursive systems is actually faster and more capable than the overall market itself, which indicates, I guess, maybe it's feeding my own predisposition or bias, but it indicates that the harness is obviously more important for most intelligent things than the model itself.
Yeah.
And a couple other notes here. I saw Guy, you mentioned that the real breakthrough was Q1 of 2025. Now I'm going to push that back slightly. I think you're almost right with that time frame. For me, the real breakthrough was reasoning models, and the first, if you go back into our AI hackerspaces from summer of 2024, that was the sort of the first approach of reasoning models that we had implemented using the Spark, and I called it strawberry pie.
Strawberry pie.
Yeah, strawberry pie. Essentially, what we did is we fed a whole ton of early agentic structures, and you fine-tuned various models, which I think was like the GPT-4 models at the time, and essentially allowed them to start having a kind of recursive reasoning inside the model. And this is pre-launch of any of the reasoning models. This is pre-DeepSeek, and at which point I think it was September of 2024 we had the launch of the first reasoning model from GPT-4, and shortly after we had the DeepSeek launch. So I would say reasoning models circa late 2024 was the sort of inflection of when AI really became like truly decent at doing complicated things. That's at least
Right.
that's my history.
And was that the first one, Ruve? Was that 4.1?
Yeah, I think it was four. I think the four. Well, it's been a year and a half ago. Seems like ages ago. 2 years ago, I
Yeah.
guess. So yeah, I think it was one of the four releases. A 4.0, was the Pro, and they added reasoning. I think it was O. Wasn't it something like O or something like that? I don't know.
Oh, yeah, 4.0 or 1.0.
But even before the
Yeah.
reasoning models, a lot of the stuff that you're presenting, Roof, and people in this, they were doing the talk to yourself. So what a reasoning
Yeah.
model was doing, we were doing here several months before the reasoning model actually came out and quantified it and did it built
Prompt
in.
chaining. Yeah. And loops.
Yeah. How were we doing for time, Rob?
We're good. 12:39. I think Chris had something that he wanted to show. I know Barry is in the airport. Hey Barry, but he's audio only today, so he can't. But I just wanted to shout out on that because Barry does some really, really fascinating research work. And of course, he's an OG here, so he's very, very well up to speed on the tools and everything. But always fascinating to see what Barry does. Next time, I'm going to put a rain check on it, Barry. I got a sticky note on my computer to follow up, chase you down for a lightning talk.
Yeah, put me on next week. I'm definitely up for next week. I'm not traveling.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you, sir. And then Brad, I think's got an update. How are we doing on the AI fall retreat for September? How's that all come together, Brad?
Oh, awesome. Yep. So we still have
Okay.
a couple of rooms available. We're almost guaranteed to sell out. So we're
Yeah.
going to have all 35 rooms. A lot of them, the majority will be either buddy rooms or family rooms. We're right now in the process of getting all the supporting um, items ready for the actual retreat. So getting the schedules ready, building out the transportation from the airport, getting the merch available. We're still looking for a couple of sponsors to help out with that. I think there's 8 rooms that are available for booking. So first come, first serve. And if you do have, if you want to share a room, there are 2 bedroom suites. So you will have your own bedroom. We'll have a buddy system, make sure that everyone's comfortable with it. But we're now at the stage of uh, we're getting the people. We're going to have an amazing time. I've put a call out to have some good weather in September in Toronto or Muskoka area.
Plant
For
an
those
onion.
of you that don't know, American, you can think of about 5 degrees Fahrenheit cooler than what New York is expecting. For those the rest of the world, you have no idea. It's September in Muskoka.
Can I, can I
And
have
we're
the number?
sorry, what was that?
Can I have the number you called to get the
For
good weather?
For good weather.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'll release I'll
Not
open
published.
source the direct line to Mother Nature.
Yeah.
But yeah, we definitely have a call in. We're hoping it'll be nice. Worst case, we're going to have a boat tour around billionaire cottage suite. I forget what it's called. That we're going around coding by bonfire. I think there's some really cool toys that we'll be able to demonstrate and some good speakers. That's all to be determined now that we have the facility ironed out. We're getting all the logistics done, and there's a bunch of people like me and other locals that can pick people up from the airport. If you have a +1, we're uh, identifying the non-participant stuff. As we talked about before, it's actually being hosted at It's called a club links, which is the Canadian version of the big golf association. So where you have the big opens, they play at these kind of courses. Someone like me would be a caddy or throwing the ball, not actually hitting it with the golf club. But everything's looking good. Like I said, eight rooms left, so 16 people for buddy suites. If you have a +1, we'll work all that out later. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah, spectacular. And it's great for the +1s too, because I mean, it is an astoundingly beautiful setting. If you check out the link in the that we posted in there and go to the Rocky Crest, there's tons of stuff to do. You know, a spouse can they can be anywhere. There's beautiful little towns, tons of great shopping. It's the Muskokas is like the Hampton to New York City. It is a very beautiful area. So there's lots for folks to do over the course of the weekend. So looking forward to that. We also have we have speakers. There's going to be a tech release. Excited to hear what Cognitum's up to. Rube's got some stuff. I know Kunal's going to be giving a presentation on the work that he does, and he's doing amazing things in education. So the content is going to be spectacular, and then just the working time. You know, you have 50 AI engineers just jamming on ideas. Like, you know, stuff comes out of it. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, and I'll go on record here. We will get the form out to everybody who's registered so that we know exactly what your arrival times are, and we can coordinate all the shuttles and everything else like that. We'll get that out this weekend.
And the meals as well. It's everything's included.
Yeah, it's all inclusive. Yeah.
Does that include you know, spirits? No.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll have to go get those independently. I'm not a particularly big drinker anyway, but when I'm with the crew, I'll have to have a couple.
At the campfire.
You know, inclusive. Yeah, we'll need to go to one of those you know, Caribbean retreats for an all inclusive, but that would be a different experience.
Yeah.
Although I do like the idea of there was two we did a poll on the WhatsApp channel on basically where we should do these in the future, and the two winning ones was one was Greece, on some island in Greece, which I saw a mention of Cyprus, which isn't too far away, and the other option was a mega yacht. And when I say mega yacht, it's when you get 50 people, it's actually not that expensive to get a really expensive yacht for a week. You know, it's basically the same cost as getting a resort that's on land. So, but you know, we probably need a couple Starlinks to make that happen.
I would second the Greek islands because some of them have in a convenience store, like it's a big. It looks like a water cooler, except it's something much stronger, like 80 proof, that some grandpa made like last week, like, and anybody can just come in and just like
Cipuro. They call it Cipuro. That's their type of rakia. So
yeah, it is. I mean, it's some grandpa like fermented bunch of stuff and distilled it, and like here you go, like, you know, and it just sits in a convenience store, like free for all, like it's.
How hard is it to get to Serbia these days, Dragon? We could do something nearby.
Not hard, you know, the airport to Belgrade, you know, there are flights from all over the world. So yeah, it's quite, you know, easy to come here.
I mean, Croatia's pretty nice too on the coastline.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we're going that way, my vote is Croatia. I'll be in Croatia all of next month anyway.
Nice. Yeah. You should meet up with Dragon and crew. Adam had nothing but good things to say when he toured through there a few weeks ago. So yeah, it sounds great. What else can I show you guys? I obviously really, you know, if anyone, I think someone mentioned yesterday they had some things they might want to show. If you have something you want to demo, always game to see whatever it is that you're building as well. Let me know what you know, what you want to see. Otherwise, I've got an endless supply of random things. I don't know if we got Ofer on the call. I saw some demos from him earlier as well. And you mentioned Chris might want to say something. This is your chance if you.
Yeah, just double checking. I think if I heard that right. Yep.
No, I don't think so. I was trying to remember. I thought there was something I wanted to, and then I just didn't get to it. So maybe next week.
Next week.
All right.
Stick up, Chris.
Well, while the rest of the crew gets set up, then I'm gonna keep demoing because I can't help myself. All right, so music. The Minimax 3 came out this week, so I had to take a stab at doing some interesting stuff with it. So, and anyone that's on the call yesterday, my apologies, it's a little bit redundant from what we did yesterday. Oops, this is the wrong one. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go to the landing page first. Now I should probably link the link so it goes to the landing page. So what the model does, what I did is I essentially created a kind of agentic music production system. I used all the agents and the feedback loops and the micro LoRa's and all the crazy stuff that I concocted for language models. I applied to a music model. I'm like, what can I do? What will that do? And apparently it can do some pretty cool stuff. I even added an MCP, so you can then create your own kind of production system. Now it's very beta, and it's likely going to break in the midst of trying to use it because I'm actively building it. But I like to build in public, so there you go. And I'm building this for no real reason other than I'm just curious and of how sort of language and voice-based models work more than anything else. And as you know, the best way to learn anything is just jump in and do it. So this approach essentially allows you to create, music productions. Think of like Timberlake. I don't know who's a good music producer these days. Dr. Dre. I don't know. Whatever they would go through to go and build, a full music catalog, radio, all that kind of stuff. So this is in the form of an MCP. So to do that, I'm using that model. And oops, actually, one sec. I don't think I shared my audio. I'm gonna go back for sorry, one guys. If I can, I gotta share with audio. All right, let's try that one more time with audio. All right, so hopefully you can hear. This time you'll hear it. So you can define every element, key, genre. This is pop. Okay.
Nonsense, burning through the rain. Does it sing in different languages?
What's that?
Does it speak different languages?
I haven't tried different languages, but I can't see why it wouldn't. That's a good question. I've only did English, but you can do all kinds of different styles.
I'm gonna try Spanish.
Now it uses the structure of a song, right? The intro, the bridge, and so on.
Dust on the windowsill, coffee gone cold.
So you can do genres.
Smoke curls up from an ashtray downtown.
Ad jingle.
Fresh and bright, start your day right. Sunny Cola, feel the light. Sunny Cola, pour it up. Sunny Cola, pour.
So then I put a little dashboard together. The dashboard allows you to create, based on, a kind of draft. I'm still working through it. What's this song about? Spanish lullaby. Oh, I didn't spell that right. Lullaby. About agentic engineering. What's the Spanish? It's a Spanish folk music. I don't know. Draft lyrics.
Use Madonna's La Isla Bonita as the format.
I actually, this system is particularly good at remixing existing music. Now, I think that breaks a whole lot of copyright laws, so I disabled that for my public version of it. I didn't, again, remember the time Metallica sued the crap out of us. I don't want to repeat that again. It wasn't pleasant. But yeah, so essentially what this is, I can translate, I can take a song and basically remix it. I can mix multiple songs together like you would a DJ, whatever. I can do all of it. Now I'll set this to 20 seconds just as a quick little test. We'll call it Spanish, and we'll generate that. This will take it. It's so what I'm doing when I generate the music is I'm actually using the GPU spot instances on GCP because it's 90 something percent cheaper than spinning up a cloud run instance. And as you guys know, I'm cheap at this stuff. So what the drawback to using that service is because these things run for a few minutes, sometimes the GPUs get taken back and it fails and it has to try again. So if you're unlucky, it might take more than a few minutes. But generally speaking, I'm able to create these things pretty quickly. I was having some trouble with this earlier. See if this works. Is it working? I'm not sure why it stopped working. Oh. Okay.
Yo ho, gather round, there's a tale to be told of a coder who sailed on a sea made of gold. He forked every wave, he compiled every gale, and he built him a swarm with an agent for a sail. Heave away, heave away. Drums on the deck and the flute leads the way. Heave away, heave away. We're sailing the cozy till the break of day.
Yeah, dirty.
Hoisted the flag of an open source crew. 1,000 we agents leave, they all pulled it through. From RovNet to the swarm, he charted the plan. Every line that he shipped built a better run band. Heave away, heave away. Drums on the deck and the flute leads the way. Heave away, heave away. We're sailing the cozy till the break of day.
All right, so that was a little cheesy. So
That's the best.
Make that the retreat anthem and play it in the lobby in a loop.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So then I'm like, all right, let's try a different down key version of that. These are shanties because I don't know. I was trying to try a different genre.
Oh, gather round, lads, there's a tale to be told of a coder who sailed on a sea made of gold. He forked every wave, he compiled every gale, and he built him a swarm with an agent for a sail. Heave away, up, heave away. Drums on the deck and the flute leads the way. Heave away, up, heave away. We're sailing the cold sea till the break of day. He hoisted the flag of an open source crew. 1,000 we agents, they all pulled it through. From RovNet to the swarm, he charted the plan. Every line that he shipped built a better run band. Heave away, up, heave away. Drums on the deck and the flute leads the way. Heave away, up, heave away. We're sailing the cold sea till the break of day.
So same structure, different production, right? So I changed the style brief, kept the lyrics, right? So you do same lyrical structure, but different style. And this was just a test. Let's see what this one sounds like. That's it. So it takes a little bit, and that's just the nature of this type of and this is only 20 seconds. If I was to do like 5 minutes, I can do a max of 5 minutes. Most songs are best in around 3 minutes. These songs are 2 minutes and 25 seconds. But then I can actually separate the stems, extract the MIDI, and then create and remaster the thing to improve the quality of the song. Now I can then mix them together and create a little. I'm not going to do it because I'm not sure if I might lose the production here. But I can do a radio station as well that basically creates a kind of real-time mix of that in a kind of radio. You remember the Shoutcast back like 25 years ago for Winamp? Maybe it was like 30 years ago. it's kind of like Shoutcast, but with digitally made music and all that kind of stuff. Now, this is I exposed all of this as a again, use at your own risk, but I exposed all of it using API. So you can see here what the structure looks like, you know. This is Nick's song. Nick's still on here?
Yeah, Nick's he did a tour with Nickelback. He was touring.
Yeah, this is actually Nick's voice.
That was Nick's voice.
So he puts the Nick in Nickelback.
Started out with nothing but a spark. Walking forward through the dark.
I gotta make this more nerdy.
Every step a story left unsaid. Chasing echoes of a dream ahead. We rise above the tide. Nothing left for us to hide. We rise into the light. Holding on with all.
Yeah, so you can sample your voice, in this case, Nick. So I said, make Nick like Nickelback.
just cause.
Yeah, just because. Where is Nick anyway? His grand debut. I think we're missing him.
I'm here. Yeah,
Nick,
between Nickelback and Oasis, I mean, I just can't with this, Ruben.
You know, you're always looking for, you know, the your big break here. I think this might be it.
Yeah, joining Nickelback. I mean, there was a show that they were opening. I think it was for Slipknot in like Germany or something, and they weren't they were refusing to cheer, you know, so they just walked off stage and said,
Well,
okay,
just go put the Nick back in Nickelback. This is your path.
Those guys, they're just bad.
As of today, you'll have 99 plus people cheering you on if you do it. It's right here for you, Nick.
This is not the first group of people I've heard this joke from.
It's a Canadian thing.
Yeah, it's you know, it's the biggest. Nickelback is the biggest selling Canadian act of all time, for those who don't know, and there might also be the most hated act of all time for some reason. But yeah, that's what I built. Now you see the stream timed out. I got a bug. Who knows why? But so there's still bugs.
Could we add a disco style?
Yeah, there's nothing saying we can't do any style. Now I'm not sure why I'm having a trouble. It's probably the GPU got taken back. I gotta probably have better fault tolerance for that. But yeah, it's, you know, it's kind of interesting. I'm gonna make the song. Maybe I'll do it just manually command line, and I know then I'll get it. Create this song. Yeah, in this case, I just grabbed the lyrics and I just popped it directly into my Claude, and I'm gonna just invoke it via my MCP. I know that works. Needs a little work. But keep in mind, I built this thing in like a day, like while I was working on other things. There's a radio. The radio is supposed to.
Nothing left for us to hide.
Oh, it's. I gotta refresh that. It might.
Nothing left for us to hide. We rise.
No, it's. I guess it's stuck on that for some reason. Anyway, you get the idea. That's what I built because I could.
Is it ready, bro?
No.
Okay. All right.
Well, if you want to help me beta test it, it's ready.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. I was you know, as you know, Matt was my inspiration for a lot of this music stuff. He's always cranking out really cool stuff. What have you built lately?
Well, I am working on a few things, but I had a Suno comparison queued up. I was gonna play so it can get some fidelity on between Suno and let's see, I don't know if you can hear it. Some And what you built for the music, let's see.
It looks like a nice guitar in the background, by the way.
Was that?
Looks like a nice guitar in the background, by the way.
Oh yeah, Gretsch and the Ibanez.
Oh, I got an
Nice.
iPad.
Can y'all hear that?
No, I think you gotta share. Share your screen. Click on the share with sound.
Okay, all right. So, just giving you some context for your music. So these are two songs I wrote. This is in Suno, but Suno allows me to switch between styles. So this is John Cougar Mellencamp. I'll just play 1 minute of
Her lonely eyes look to me for approval. She stared. I couldn't say nothing. Captivated by her glare.
Okay, so then I tried it in reggae.
Now, the challenge that
So they do long intros. That's the problem with Suno.
yeah,
The clarity there. Yeah.
the benefit to I think like the music probably quality it's subjective, needless to say, but I've got complete control over every stem, every note, I can remix the Beatles with the Rolling Stones, and I don't have to worry about potentially being, oh, you can't do that. I got full unlocked access to do
So
whatever I
that's why
want.
I'm excited, because see, this what I'm doing is I'm writing songs. There, some of these songs are so, I think, are so, I like them. I say so good because I like them so good that I think someone would want to hear them. But some of these songs, but the argument is AI versus human. So I've talked to a lot of my producer friends, and where I've landed on is I'm going to take what this generates and go talk to TJ, my friend, who's a singer, and some couple other singers, and actually go through the
Well,
right process, right?
you can sample voices. So when Nick was telling me something the other day, I just recorded him secretly, sorry Nick, and said
Yeah.
let's put Nick into Nickelback, right? and that's what's cool about this. And so, but I can also handle the exact structure of the music, every part of it. So if I want a beat drop and a techno tune, the best beat drops happen somewhere between 30 and 50 seconds into the song, right?
Exactly. Right.
So
Yeah.
I want the beat to drop at 40 seconds, and I say drop at 40 seconds. And then I might want to have a slight interlude where I do, one of those DJ things where you put in some random song that's completely, out in left field, and then you come back, right? And it can mix and do all those sort of things for you on the fly. And then I can
Perfect.
remaster it. And then I can create each stem. So I can extract each of the stems. So if I want to bring in the Pro Tools or whatever, I've got all the stems. Now, the Suno doesn't do any of that stuff. Now here,
Oh.
check this out. I got the Spanish one just quick. I'm gonna see what that sounds like. It did actually work. The UI just failed, but when I refreshed, I saw it. Let's see what Spanish. Oh, did I share my screen? I keep forgetting. Yeah, okay. All right. We're listening for Spanish.
Where would you add Nick's voice if you want to update the
Arorro, mi niño duerme ya. La máquina trabaja en la oscuridad.
Nice. It sounds beautiful.
Nice. Hey, Rolf, we should invite this guy, but I think his name Aishman. Oh, no, Manchi. I just put him on the things. So he's an MIT and he does very neat stuff with AI music, and he goes like from both ends. Like, so one thing has like I saw his demo. He recorded, and actually he performed. The biggest one was with the Soul symphonic orchestra. They recorded bunch of river sounds. And then they actually got the orchestra people play the actual instrument, but then it substitutes you playing like a cello with the sounds of the river. So you're playing the river essentially. And another thing his demo I seen, like he had the thing like you just go like boom boom like with your mouth, and it replaces it with the actual drum bits like. And
Well,
he does like all kind of neat stuff like.
I can do all that with RuView. I can
Yeah.
make you the orchestrator as you like. We have that in that Musica app. As you move your
Yeah.
hands, I can adjust the music. I can make you the
Yeah, but
conductor. You know.
sure. But we should
Here,
just
let's.
talk to him. He's like very cool guy,
Yeah.
and he does perform with the like musicians. He's actually performing in October with the Boston Symphony, like so.
Oh, that's cool. Here, this is the full Spanish lullaby. Let's jump ahead here.
La oscuridad. Arroro, mi niño, no llores más. Los agentes velan
Now,
tu
I'm not a Spanish speaker. Does it sound right?
Antes de la luna, el
Luna.
código.
It is proper Spanish, but
Y
I
lo
wouldn't
de
sing that
loco
lullaby
con
to.
baile. Cada función un beso que yo te entregué, cada bucle un abrazo que te sostendrá. Los agentes piensan mientras tú respiras, sistemas autónomos como hadas
They're
marinas.
talking about agents
Protocolos
and
guardan
autonomous
luna de
systems.
cristal.
It's more agent crap.
Yeah, it's they're still talking about agents.
Well, I did. I said to create me a lullaby about agents in Spanish.
Okay, well, then okay, I guess, but I still wouldn't sing that to my granddaughter.
Well, your granddaughters aren't as nerdy as my kids.
No, because my granddaughter is 10 now, so she wouldn't listen
Yeah,
to that.
but we could do. Obviously, I'm doing it to prove a point. But yeah, we can do whatever, right? And
On,
I could literally,
on any topic, actually, that's really cool.
yeah.
Hey,
So
yeah, Roof, what do you think of Magenta for the model instead of Suno? Like, because I've seen people like.
I'm not using Suna. I'm not using Suna for this.
I know.
This is a Minimax model that came
Oh,
out
it's Minimax,
on
okay.
Tuesday.
I see.
Yeah, it's 100% hosted local, and
okay.
I altered I separated a bunch of the stuff. Here, let me show you. I included some details here. This is the structure.
I see. Yeah, because for some reason lots of Boston people love Magenta, and you can also run it local too. Like,
Dust on the windowsill, coffee gone cold. Stories in the vinyl that we used to hold.
Yeah, so yeah, Matt, let's
I have some ideas.
let's touch base next. I'll do whatever you want. You tell me what you want, and I'll make it. Like we'll do whatever. Like we could DJ it. We could create a separation. If for private use, we could probably create like remixes of like I could probably do a Spotify integration. I don't know, whatever.
I have a lot.
Is there a GitHub repo on this?
No, because I've been sued before by the music industry, and I'm super paranoid.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, I have a private GitLab if you want to put it there.
Yeah, I'm for now. I'm keeping this private. I was the designer of the Napster interface back in the day, so I've carried that with me for the last 30 years. I wasn't included in the social media movie or the social movie there, but behind the scenes, I'm basically Forrest Gump. If you look hard enough in any trend, I'm somewhere. I'm there, just maybe not in the front.
Have you checked out Dreamtronics, the synthesizer V before Roof?
No,
they have some.
What's that?
Yes, so I dropped the link in the chat, and it is very, very granular and detailed. There might be some cool little things you might try and like reverse engineer and throw in there. It'd be fun.
I can I'm the master at reverse engineering. So here, let me show you how that happens. We're gonna do that just because why not? All right, so here, let me share my screen. So this is a perfect use case for the work capability in ChatGPT. You know, I it's something I want to fool around with, but I don't want to use all my my Claude to do it right now because I'm just kind of seeing what I can do. So what I'm going to go in here is I'm going to go and I'm going to go in the ChatGPT and I'm gonna build me some crazy stuff was my previous. So I'm gonna continue down that road and I'm gonna say let's create a clean room. Remember the word clean room implementation of that. Now I've also got my Minimax. This is private, but you guys will see where I keep it regardless. So Cognitive one, I think it's called Minimax Music. This is my repo. Again, it's private, so you won't be able to get to it. But essentially, that's what I'm going to point that at it, and using oops. We want to what exactly does this thing do actually before I go and
Yeah,
is
so
this
this is the like pretty much the state of the art for voice production software, music, notes, lyrics. You can select a voice, you can change the pitch, you can change how it blends into each other. You can put different types of like vibrato and all sorts of other different things with the different voices. So it's a
Josh,
full on
is it
very
a generator?
intensive.
Is it like Ableton and
Yes. Yeah.
okay. So it
This is
records
like
or generates?
it records and generates. I'm not a power user of this by any stretch of the
Okay.
imagination. I saw a demo of it, so I know what it looks like. I also know that it's like the top thing in the world, what a lot of top producers use.
alone standalone application built in Rust with both a web UI and desktop Rust U app. And then, this create detailed ADRs. So first thing I'm gonna do is just create the ADRs because then based on whatever I do and create the um, mock UI in a high fidelity. I just whatever it gets. And based on the UI images attached, use RuveNet and Cognitum services. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just quickly look for screenshots. Now, obviously, respect people's intellectual property. Don't do anything stupid. Blah blah blah. All right. So copy image. Go back here. Pop another image in here, and let's remember. Don't do anything that will get me sued. Clean. Poly. Use poly. Morphic implementation and soda research. We're gonna crank this up to 11. Now remember, I'm continuing in a project that I started earlier. It said build me some crazy shit. So it already has done some research into my crazy stuff. So that's it. So
As you fire that off, Rube, can we sidecar a question real quick?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, so this is a perfect example of all of what we do and how AI is applied toward what the future of the world would look like, specifically in designers that are graphic designers whose jobs are no longer, you can do your flyer in Chat GPT now, or any finance and legal
Let, let,
and all
let
the
me
other
pause you for
roles.
one moment. Remember, guys, I originally started my career as a graphic designer. My secret to being creative in code and applications, I think, comes in the fact that I have that kind of art and graphic background that allows me to sort of apply the sort of design thinking sort of concepts to the things I build. I am the architect of these things. Continue.
My sentiment is the same. With a little bit of a hairy itch toward the music stuff. Reason being is that I've been playing music since 8 years old. I play 4 or 5 instruments. I've done the 10,000 hours, right? And so, but I do know in Suno, I've since learned. So normally I need the music to write the song, but Suno has taught me in all my years of doing this. Now I can write before I need the song. So it has amplified me in a way. So I'm still stuck at a hairy spot though, because I know that now Mike, James, and John can go do what I took me 20 years to learn how to do, right? So I think that's, as you said that, I reinterpreted my question, and I looked for where my problem was. And I think maybe it's now everybody can do the similar same thing,
Let
even though I am turbo boosted in a way, right? So
But
let
yeah.
me counter that for a moment. So if you look at my repo as a microcosm of the space, hundreds and hundreds of projects, most of which went nowhere, and a couple that became some of the most popular projects on the planet in these particular verticals. If you look at like, Frank Sinatra as an example,
Yeah.
he created thousands of songs. And, out of those thousands of songs, he was one of the most prolific sort of hit makers of his era. So, but the reason he was able to create so many hits was that he was putting out an immense amount of material, realizing that most of that material was never going to be a hit. And then once he had the critical mass, the critical audience, that created a flywheel loop that allowed his stuff later in his career to almost be guaranteed to chart. So if you look at the sort of structure of his success over time, there was this flywheel of success based on just a prolific amount of stuff that he put out. So to you, possibly, the takeaway is you can try more and find and get to what works and what doesn't in a way that was never possible before. But you are the curator, you are the director, you are the musician that
100%.
backs all of that.
100%. I.e., for example, the John Cougar Mellencamp version and the reggae version. In past, it would have taken $2,000 to switch and
Hey.
finding and tracking down the people, right? So yeah.
Hey, Roof, I actually have another example for what you said. So I know a professor in Maryland. He has the army of graduates. So basically, he has army of graduate students. They write research grant proposals to all agencies, and they all crap. But they write 200 a year, and maybe 20 of them get funded. But when they get funded, it's $3 million, right? So he just brings and he uses that money to actually get more crappy graduate student to write more grant so he just spamming all the agencies, and maybe 1 in 60 actually gets funded, but that's a few $1 million, and it's up. And to Matt, you actually said thing you said this, you get amplified, right? And it's exactly what these tools do. So if your ability is 0, and you multiply it by 10, it's still going to be 0, right? So if it's 1, you can get to the 10, right? And if it's 100, you can get, I mean, if it's if it's 100, then you can get to 10,000, and it's and I think
100%.
it's not a multiplier, it squares your ability even, so that's what it does, so that's
Absolutely. Well, here's the other curious part, Rue and Vlad. So if you generate a song on AI and you like that song, should you what will the world look like with a bunch of Suno generated songs, or should you go get Taylor Swift and have her put the human in the song, even though you can all the things we said earlier.
She has 21 or 22 writers on every one of her songs. I'm not sure she's written any of her songs.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not talking about just the writing. I'm talking about actually the performance of said song. So what Ruth played was good. What I played was good, but these were not real people. These were
Yes, but
AI.
you'd have to have someone perform it, and then that's the thing, right? It's not
Yeah.
like playing a track in your home, listening to some device. But if you can actually get a guy, a guy to sing it, and the band to play it that way, and then it gets performed and people come, then you've made it, right? But the problem is today performing in live is not the only way to make money with music. There's with Spotify, Apple Music, and all YouTube Music, and all the other ones, you can make money without showing your face. So
yeah.
Yeah, it depends on who the consumer is, but like I just posted a link of a song that I was part of that I don't know how AI could ever recreate something like this because it's true improvisation. Like we can simulate what music sounds like, but it doesn't feel like music to the listener, especially when live. This is also why I still love orchestral playing or going to see a live symphony.
oh yeah, it's nothing beats live. I mean, today we could write a new unwritten, unpublished song or piece by Mozart, right? Nothing stops that, right? It would sound like Mozart. It would be, I don't know if it'd be genius like Mozart, but
Yeah. But I think it's also like the problem with the reproduction of music. It's not as good as live, especially because it's also a function of the building you're performing, right? It depends what, right? But like performing live instrument and good theater would always would be like any recorded music, like because the microphones and speakers and everything they're not exact. But if you're making music for people who listen on the run, like in the iPhone through the crappy headphones, like then it's a different thing too.
Your analogy, I mean, I have one. I don't like country music, never liked it, and I still don't like it. But once in 15 years ago, I was in Nashville and they had the Pam Tillis live, and I went to see her thing and I loved it. But after seeing that performance, I still don't like, and I don't never listen to her. But I mean, the live aspect is, you have an actual human, not faking it. Well, they may be lip sync, you never know, but you hope they're not faking it. So that's what's magic, right? But
Somebody
in the future,
somebody tried to AI generate music, but people actually performing it.
Yeah, exactly. And the argument I'm posing doesn't mean that I'm not going to use Suno and generate songs. Me and Rube aren't going to do what we do, but it's just it's just an element. Like, do you want a robot cooking your steak? Like the taste, things that humans aren't. AI won't be able to replace with humans at all, right? What are
so
those
you
things?
might want to do your morning run with Suno generated music because it's exactly what you want.
100%.
But I will not go and listen to someone even perform live something that was generated by Suno because I would. But I don't know.
You can
Maybe
hear
I
it.
would.
You can pick up on it.
Yeah.
You can pick it up. Yeah.
Well, no, I'm not sure I would because it'd be live, right? I'm saying if a song is generated by Suno and some artist decide, okay, I'll take that song and perform it. If I know that it wasn't composed by, even 17 writers or whatever, I might not want to, but I think we have to make sure that we're honest about.
Yeah, but that's what that Manasvi doing. Like, so he's actually performing in October. So it would be like actual Boston Symphony Orchestra in the actual theater, and he would also be performing live. Like, it's not pre-generated AI. He has this computer with bunch of knobs. Like, so while the orchestra is playing, he also turning the knobs. So you can say like he's performing, right?
That's cool. That's cool.
It's like DJ.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not DJ. I mean, DJ
What?
kind of
Come
rap,
on.
but DJ does recording music. His music is not actually recorded. It's a live
No,
file.
DJ,
He has this
DJs go,
huge.
they go like this. DJs, they go like this, you know, they
It's
spin the
very,
thing. So
it's very
Yeah,
much
but
DJing.
instead of like a record, he has. I'm actually maybe it is like DJ, but he has this huge rack of like I don't know 50 GPUs that basically he turns the knobs and press the buttons and then like.
It's like DJing. Yeah.
DJing, like, but David Guetta, I guess, has done pretty well for himself being a DJ and
Exactly.
producer. He's I don't know if he's everyone's taste, but for those who like him, they love him apparently. And so the music obviously can be, someone playing guitar on the beach, like my son, which is, it's amazing to watch him play and plays harmonica. And is he a master musician? No, he's 16 years old. But the experience of sitting there on the beach and hearing the waves crash while he plays his guitar, is one of my most favorite things. And it's
and
not because he's like the best guitarist in the world. It's the fact he's my son.
it's the live aspect, and he's your son, right? That's added bonus. But I would go to the beach and I'd listen to him just because, it's a human expressing himself.
The same song he plays on Monday will be different on Friday, depending on how his week went that whole week.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So I dropped in chat a couple different things, but it was like back in 2019, 2020, couple guys went out to copyright every single melody. They did a generation using an algorithm to generate every single melody, and they copyrighted them all and then released them to Creative Commons. So there's a GitHub repo with all those melodies and and all those
Where's
different
that?
things.
All the music?
Yeah, it's under my chat. So there's a YouTube video. All the music is kind of the news around it, and then there's the repo for that.
The entirety.
Yeah, so it'll actually generate working MIDI files for every melody.
Well, I've got MIDI integration both in and out on my little platform that I devised. So yeah, all you need is a MIDI and it'll do the rest basically.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. It's a pretty interesting set of tools there to play with if you're really interested in it and want to get really deep and nerdy on it.
Josh, do you know if you know if music is like so they say who was it that wrote the Shakespeare, all modern film is based off of 8-10 Shakespeare plays. Is music somewhat similar to that?
So this is they were I think there's some stories around it, so I'm not gonna tell the story all that well. There's a bunch of articles around those guys. But they were just tired of all these copyright arguments for melodies, like so they just released them, right? And that's what and they were like, well, let's just generate them all, release them because then we have them generated. And it's all of the different. I don't remember the depth of the. It's been a while since I dug into this conversation, got it going again. But there's a lot of articles and things on that you can read about it.
And by the way, it's the structure of a song. Pretty much every pop song ever is this, right?
Yep.
Yeah, 3 chords. You can play almost all of the 60s and 70s.
Pachelbel's canon is basically every single award-winning song that has existed over the past, something like that.
Yeah. So it's we know what we like. We can repeat what we like. We just need to tweak what we like. And the key to making a hit song right now is the combination of visibility and nowness or something, right? And what's interesting also when you look at the top songs right over the last 6 months, there's been a dozen AI generated songs and they're almost all country music related. So if you want to do well with fake music, apparently just cater to a certain demographic that is more likely to enjoy that type of stuff. I'm being polite. But
well, it's a numbers game. I mean, country music is the #1 genre by listener count, not by artistic merit, but by listener count. So the numbers are in your favor.
And it's also very templated, right? I can't even tell you the difference between most of these songs, but I'm sure if you were a fan, you would. But once you figure out the template, you're good to go.
Yeah, Roof. think it changes actually every 100 or maybe 200 years, like the templates, because I think all the modern music, it comes from this guy, Serge Gainsbourg. He got with Frank Sinatra and Ella Fitzgerald and I think Jim Morrison in the 60s, and they created the modern music. But I mean, once in a while that event happens, it's very like rare, but it might happen. I don't know, like we probably gonna be due soon for some like bunch of guys to like create a new music templates. And once that happens, like all the music changes, but it hasn't happened since like 60
Well,
years.
it happened in rap because you know,
Or maybe in rap, yeah. So it happened in rap. So sometimes
Run
somebody
DMC,
comes in.
yeah, Run DMC music is completely different than what's now.
Yeah.
I can't even listen to some of the stuff now. The
But
yeah.
it's very like rare event. It's maybe, I don't know, 50 to like 100 years when there is a new music kind of template comes
Well,
up,
maybe
but then it takes over the world. Like it's eventually like it's.
What's coming next is some sort of, and I think the key takeaway in what Matt was telling and what I've been trying to do is to put the person back into the production system. And one of the problems I had with the Suno system was it's generally pretty templated and doesn't give you all the bells and whistles and knobs that you can turn. And so back to that example you were telling me about that other service that I'm knocking off as we speak. Maybe it's creating some kind of new form of production system that gives you all the bells and whistles and knobs to turn and makes it uniquely yours, possibly.
Yeah. And maybe that's going to allow people who don't have the talent to go in front and start singing stuff that, didn't get anybody to write for them. And that's okay.
I'm gonna be a master at karaoke with one of these voice reproducers here.
Yeah. If you really want to see this thing shine, you got to see my I maybe I'll share one. Maybe I'll turn off the recording, but I got to show you the remixed version of existing songs that It's crazy. Like there's this guy on Instagram that does like sort of like I wrecked it, and he does like this mix up of like songs, but he makes them bad or different in some way. It can do that basically, So it takes a Beatles song and it completely changes it, but it's still the Beatles song.
Are you talking about where they did like I don't know, like a Snoop Dogg song in the style of the 30s, what gangster
Exactly. It's like
Sinatra kind of? Okay.
Yeah, drop it like it's hot, but Frank Sinatra singing it.
Singing it. Okay.
Yeah. It's
yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I do some covers that way, Ruve, where I'll do it like Michael Jackson or something.
Exactly.
That's a fan favorite for sure.
Nice.
Yep. I don't know. It's just fun to fool around with this stuff. Like this is just straight vibing, right? I don't know if there's a business in it or not, but it's fun to show what I can build, in areas that aren't boring.
There is in two places, one going down the path of pure producer. I'll talk to you about it. And then the other one has a cognitum lean on it that I have in my head. I'm not sharing it now because I need to do the demo, and I'll bring it on a Friday. I have it in my head. I know clearly.
I think my production name could be Rick Reuven. Okay. Okay.
Well,
I'm done.
I'm getting sued.
I'm definitely not gonna get sued for that. I'm fairly certain. And I'm gonna wear a robe wherever I go. It'll be great. And I actually I'm gonna what hair I have left, I'm just gonna keep growing until it goes
A robe and an ascot.
Oh yeah, no, Nick's the ascot guy.
A Maryland robe.
Yeah, a Roman. You know what? I'm gonna push the limits. I'm gonna go Roman, style. A toga, and that'll.
A purple Merlin robe. I think that would be.
Yeah, unlike Merlin, I actually have magical powers. No, just kidding.
Don't forget the polka dots, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, when you
then
think about what.
And a wand with like an agentic controller in it, so you can orchestrate your agents.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm going to use the RuView spatial system, and it's going to track my movements, and I'm going to like flick my arm in a certain way, and the lights will come on, and the sound of angels will magically appear and stuff.
I think you have to write a song for the summit that we're going to do in September. You know.
Yes. Yeah, we will
I
create
think.
we should create a symphony,
Oh, great! I'd love to do that. Yeah,
right?
fantastic. Like you do a pop one, and I'll do a classical one with symphony instrument.
Well, there's nothing saying I can't like I've got the stems, so I can separate each of the parts of the song at this point pretty easily. We could create, like someone mentioned, 1,000 instrument symphony, and and I don't know. And I've got the Musica system that does the review integration, so we have the ability for spatial understanding. So as we move and do and interact, the music can adjust. We've got all the tools. We could figure out how to put them all together.
And during the summit, you play this thing, you turn on your review, and everybody in the room affects the music by dancing, moving, or whatever.
What
And
about
and,
those?
and it gets filmed, and it goes live. It becomes viral.
What about those aura rings that Chris was talking about at one time? That some type of physical connected with what we're talking about, maybe by ring or band
We,
or
we we don't need Aura. What I'm using these days, I'm using Bluetooth. So anyone that has a phone in the room, I instantly can get your blue, unless you turned your Bluetooth off. But I essentially can use that as a beacon.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the easiest method to sort of track individuals like from a broad perspective. I can just bing everyone's beacon indicates they're there.
So I've been playing with a live audience intelligence platform that might fit into this. That's kind of cool. So the Bluetooth idea just gave me yet another idea on that. Because it's got haptics and a couple other different things on it, so that'd be fun. Damn it, Roof.
Yeah, Bluetooth. Yeah. If I'm gonna, like, let's say I was trying to track 10,000 people in a concert, right,
Yeah.
or more. Now, at that amount of people, it's going to be hard to get CSI and whatever, because it's just a lot of noise. So the first thing that I'm going to look at is what can I use to individually separate each of those 10,000 people. Turns out almost every single one of those people has a phone in their pocket, and that is broadcasting in real time all the time. And I can in using RuVector create a graph. Then I separate each one of those 10,000 BLE signals. Once I've got that, I get basic movement, basic sort of vector, are going left, right, dancing up and down. Then I can I can then individually analyze each of those signals and then correlate things like their heartbeats and whether they're happy, sad, moving, or whatever. But it starts with something that's easily attainable, like BLE.
Yeah.
What about the Wi-Fi signal?
Well, Wi-Fi
or no, sorry, not Wi-Fi. LTE, 3G, 5G.
Yeah, so I can do that with LTE, and but those are different, depend. So the problem with that is I have to be the provider, right? So I could create a man in the middle, LTE, that makes everyone in the room connect to me, which would be, dishonest. Now the benefit to BLE is it's inherently sort of broadcasting, and pretty much every phone has it turned on. Now I can also do that with other signals as well, but generally speaking, that's the most accessible at this point.
I mean, you can't locate the 3G signal if you're not the provider, because they're
I can.
transmitting too.
Oh, I can. I can use the I don't know what you call it. Basically, there's multiple RF signals ranging from 2, 3, 5G, Wi-Fi, and all the way up the spectrum. Now, the higher the fidelity, the higher the frequency, the shorter the range of that what I can detect. But the higher the fidelity to the things I can then detect. So once I've got the sort of the lowest fidelity thing, which would essentially be like a unique identifier like BLE, I can then store that, and then I then attempt to correlate that to other things adjacent to it, like ping it with a Wi-Fi or ping it with a AirDrop or other various things that might say no, I'm not interested. But once I get the no and I'm not interested, then I can sort of go up the food chain and get additional sort of analysis done. And then the last level would be things like CSI and other sort of more higher fidelity versions of who you are and what you're all about, the soul signature, if you will.
So the reason why I brought up the ring is not to track me, but to find out when I need a hug or a handshake. So to sense my being and my state, the happiness, and then combine all the people at the retreat can somehow combination inject into the music and how it's playing. So that's what the thought was, where I was thinking for the ring.
We can get cheap. We can get cheap rings from China. Like you can get a like an Aura knockoff from I think it's AliExpress for like $10.
Yeah, it's actually down to 6, and some of the stuff Ruve and I had kind of gone through. If any of you want to talk to me about it and implement it, I'm doing a talk at 11 o'clock on our marketplace about this. Would be one great example to do. Embed our tech, build an application, write some scripts over the top of it, put it up on the marketplace, and let it go.
Yeah.
And then play the music on top of it, and Matt could do a cool video for you. It's perfect.
There we go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, interesting conversation today, guys. Wrapping up here a little bit. Anything anyone wants to share or tell before we wrap up for this week? No. All right. Yeah, well, love if you want to come and do this in person, love to meet you in person in September. We had a couple people drop out for whatever reason, but so there's a couple rooms I think opened up. If you want a dedicated room, and the rooms that aren't dedicated, they're not like you're sharing a room with someone snoring next to you. They're like, sort of condo style. So you're getting a room in a little sort of apartment. You don't have to worry about Rob snoring next to you, kind of thing. It's just a way to save a few bucks more than anything else. And otherwise, I think there are some Airbnbs in the general vicinity, like if you don't mind driving a little bit. Yeah. And I'm by the way, I'm building this knockoff of that thing, and that's gonna take a while, but I'm sure it'll be cool once it's done. And it's always interesting to see.
Yeah, because I know they have they have they train custom models for it, so it's not anything that's out there in the open right now, other than within their ecosystem. So I'll be curious to see what comes from it.
I'm really good at reverse engineering things. That might be my superpower.
Looks like we got to wait till next Thursday then to see the results of it then, right?
Yeah.
Is everyone on like the WhatsApp channel? We could I could share it there. And there's a code.
Core people, not everyone, but most people. Yeah. Maybe next Thursday. Yeah.
Remind me, because by the time next Thursday rolls around, I would have built 50 other things.
Exactly.
It will be forgotten.
Yes, yeah, that's my problem. Like this, I a lot of the stuff that I forget to show you are things I build on Monday and Tuesday.
We have to have these calls more often. That's the solution.
Check your WhatsApp, Ruve. I'll keep pinging you on this because I think there's something there on it. So, and I'm excited about it. Check your WhatsApp.
Yeah, I'll add you in that. Again, my biggest worry, and Chris is on the call, so he's probably his biggest worry. I just want to build things that are gonna get me in trouble. So music is one of those areas that you could get in trouble if not done right. And I've got a history with the music industry. Not a good one.
I have a quick question for Vlad. What was that model that you mentioned earlier? Begins with M.
Magenta.
Magenta. Okay.
I put even a link there, like in the chat.
Geez, I need to save those links because boy,
it's at 1:34 p.m. Like for me. Right?
Okay.
Great. Yeah. Is this this is the Google one, right?
It's a Google one, and it seems like it's the most hackable. Like, so it seems like that's why Boston guys like it, because they build you can download it and you can tweak things in it, and you can run it on. It needs like a medium-sized GPU, like with the large GPU being like H100, and like it would not run on.
Yeah, it looks like more like music production, where mine is like text to music, but it could be an interesting integration. I'll add that. I'll add that to the hey, ChatGPT, add this to the concoction.
Yeah, because I know actually like people like music students, and it's actually that's interesting. Like with the whole music industry, lots of young guys, and not even young guys, lots of like seasoned musicians, they pretty open to like AI, like, and they experiment with it. And some people are scared and they say, yeah, that's dehumanizing. And some people say that's an interesting like instrument to basically add to the array of the instruments. Like, so that's.
I don't think there's anything wrong with exploring. Sorry.
I mean, I'm not a seasoned musician. I've been involved in music all my life, and I played several instruments. But I think AI is great as a tool to help you. So for example, sometimes I like to make arrangements for. I'm mostly in classical music, but arrangement where you might have an orchestra version. I'd like to arrange it for piano. Well, you can do that, but that's takes a lot of time. So AI can help you, so you can use it as a accompaniment for something on the piano, right? So AI can be really good for those kinds of things.
Yeah. And it's the same like with the apps. I actually been doing lots of apps recently. So AI can create very good and functional app, but then I always find them very ugly and clunky. Like, and I could not explain to AI how to make things not ugly. Like, so I actually sit there and tell it like change this and change that, and like it will actually go in chug. And after like few days, like it becomes not ugly. But I guess it's not ugly to me. Like maybe it's like other people find it hideous or like, but.
Well.
And it's not about like UI elements or color choices. It's just there is something like that. Sort of, it's very hard to describe. But then
So there are some UX principles that Well, that's what bothers me mostly. It's having to click 17 things to do the simple thing that you need to do is horrible, right?
Not even things how things are arranged, and I mean I try to like sort of instruct it, say use grids and golden ratios and like other things. It comes ugly. Like we try to use it, and I mean I seen it by people. Like if you get most of the apps developed by people, like they also like ugly and clunky, especially if it's the industrial ones. Like it's.
Have you ever tried to use an application called SAP? Comes from Germany. It made
Oh
millions
yeah,
of
but
dollars.
okay. I mean it's
stop. We were having such a good
not
time.
some.
Yeah,
not about.
You're saying SAP.
Yeah, not sort of taking like shots at Germans, but I find any Siemens industrial control application, it's like it's the ugly like so it's like Hall of Fame of ugly applications, like and it's.
You say it's in their DNA?
Hmm?
You say it's in their DNA?
All right, guys.
I'm not saying it's DNA, but just.
I think on this note we're going to wrap up. But
Okay.
a couple things to note for those who are interested in Aura. There's an integration that I did with Aura, and my unsuspecting wife and her Aura ring, in Helix. So it works and it tracks your vitals and does all kinds of crazy stuff. So if you do have an Aura, you want to give it a spin, that's a good place to start. But other than that, yeah, I popped the link in there for you, Paulo. And I think we should pick up when we do our in person. We should decide on what we want to hack together. I like the idea of like some cheap, low cost health rings from AliExpress, and we build some crazy stuff with it. It sounds like a fun little project. So that's
Hey, Rube, can I add one thing? I am going to I did want to say one thing today is we are going to launch I don't know, do we want to call it a hackathon or online hackathon or a contest or a build where we're gonna basically roll it through review this year. So anybody, the coolest idea, concept, anything that anyone can put together, we're gonna start here launching it at the end of the month through every month here at the end of the year. And the coolest stuff or any submission gets a bunch of swag or whatever. And whoever comes up with the coolest one over the year, we're going to set them up with a pretty cool setup. So giving you guys a little bit of heads up and notice before we go public with it.
Yeah, what we're thinking, we still have to work out the exact details, but I'm thinking I have a custom Roove OS Linux distribution with my brain integrated and all the tools and everything I do to learns and adapts and gets better. Thinking maybe we create a kind of the Roove desktop or the Roove workstation with all the GPUs and all my setup pre-installed, ready to go, and that's the prize, something like that.
Yeah, with a like a complete cool setup, like the whole thing.
Yeah, maybe that'll be my V2.
Do we get the neon sign too? Neon
Say
sign.
it again, Matt.
Do we get the neon sign on the wall too? Roove ain't there.
I will. Well, it's going to be actually here. It's funny you say that. So one of the prizes I want to focus on Rooview, but we're going to pump out a cool Rooview sign, and we could do the Roove Flow or Roove Vector or whatever. But yeah, the signs are going to be part of the swag. So that'd
be cool.
Yeah, that sounds great. And at some point, I want to create myself the Tony Stark, AI setup, and then when you guys can come visit me in my lab, and we can do some crazy shit together. That'll be. I'll probably need to raise a bit more money to do that, but at some point that'll happen, and it'll be awesome.
You'll have your NV Diamond machine.
I'll have an NV Diamond
You'll
machine,
have
and I'll know everything there is to know about Nick.
Oh no!
One thing
You
about
don't want to know, man.
What's his AI assistant's name? You'll have that too?
Yeah, Serafina.
No,
That's
no,
mine.
the guy.
I don't know, Jarvis, but I'm not gonna call it Jarvis. Mine's Serafina. She's the 8-wing goddess of the angel of angels.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep. And she named herself that. I don't know where that came from. One day she decided that was her name, and that stuck.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But one thing I find about this Tony Starks and cool looking setups, they actually, at least stuff I'm working, I'm trying to get things more autonomous. And the more I kind of work on it, the less UI or less graphics I use, because like I just went to like green screens essentially and ATS computing, because the agents kind of like, you wanna, right, and maybe it's sort of like the way I want to see it. The agents kind of have their own society and they communicate between themselves. Like you don't want to like participate in that. Pretty much.
Yeah, so you notice that I've got my home assistant integration, and so all I need to do with mine is I just straight up, Jarvis style, I talk to it, and I've got a camera, and it sees my room, and it sees what I'm doing. It's totally Jarvis, and yeah, most things I don't, and so and rather than saying hey Siri, I say hey Sarah, and same idea. Yeah.
But if it can predict what would you want, the next step, you don't even need to say hey, right?
It does.
The
That's
robot,
you guys.
the
You guys see
robot
that?
brings the coffee before he asked for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't show you guys half the crazy stuff this thing is creating for me. Every morning, it's created something, it's not only creating software; it's dreaming up like physical products, hardware things, and I'm not even asking it to do it. And some days it's like, what did it? And it does the PCB boards, it did 3D mock-ups, it did the blueprints. All I need to do is send it to a manufacturer, and it did it all overnight because it decided that that's what I should do.
Why don't you have him send it automatically?
Send where?
Send it automatically to the manufacturer.
Well, that would require a payment processor and an unlimited budget, and I'm not quite there yet.
No, but that's what you can make a loop like. So the models, they can create things and send to manufacturer and sell it, and that's how they get the budget for like the next step, right? And then
probably
get the incentive.
Yeah, and that's where the AI takes over the world and creates all kinds of crazy stuff. All right,
because yeah, okay.
I gotta go, guys. Till next time, and remind me next week of the music stuff, and I'll show you what the result is. It's cooking as we speak.